Have we ever taken the time to notice those buildings that are around us? Those beautiful, charming, and characteristic buildings. As Thomas S. Manson once quoted, learn from the past, prepare for the future, and live in the present. History has become a part of our life. A great part of history is our Old Town buildings. These buildings have a story to tell, which is the one that I'm about to share with you guys. The art of a building represents the quality, the architecture, and adds character to our towns. Many of these beautiful buildings have been built here in the United States many years ago. I was raised in a small town in Edinburgh, Texas, where we still preserve a few historical buildings, one of them being my favorite, the Museum of South Texas, that was built in 1910. It was used at the time as an old jail many years ago. And this building has still remained intact, with, of course, a few upgrades here and there. A fun fact about this building, that it is one of the oldest buildings in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas. The city has kept its charm and its history through the years. It has done a few upgrades, like I mentioned, which making it energy efficient, but still preserving the building itself. Still maintaining the color that it had in the past, of course, with a few touches here and there. And also the architecture in the walls has remained the same. Inside the building, you can see many photographies and pieces of history that were used during the time of the old jail. Currently, this building has had additions added to it, which follow the prehistoric era of the 20th century, which allows us to fully understand the purpose of preserving the building. The whole building design guide provided me with some knowledge that I would like to share with you all. A great way of preserving an existing building is by making some modern changes. For example, these older buildings were built with no energy efficient manufacturers. So we want to add and incorporate that to be used in the modern times, without, of course, making any changes to its original architecture. This, of course, allows us to continue using these existing and beautiful manufactured, architected buildings. Economically is a great advantage because we are using the existing charm, and all we're doing is just allowing them to be valued by our local people or by our local visitors. We want to give the people the knowledge that these buildings have a story to tell. And personally, I enjoyed having these buildings still remaining now as a mother, because I want to teach my children what the full story is behind them. And when we demolish these buildings, we are destroying that history. Even though, yes, there are beautiful buildings that are being built nowadays, there's always those buildings that tell history, that have a very big importance in our life. And when we lose that, it's basically like we're losing a person, because we grew up around it. So we don't want to not appreciate those historical landmarks. We want to appreciate them and make them a part of our future.